What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Play .hack GU. This episode is all fighting. Hooray! Last time, we tried to fight in the arena, but then this old guy came up and was like, "You're a frickin' loser, kid. Go do this random puzzle dungeon." And then we went there, and then he told us how to do it every step of the way. And it just kind of felt like a waste of time. But we did raise our levels, which was good. And now we're back to doing this, so we can actually start the actual tournament part of the game. Because, good lord, there is not a lot happening. And oh my god, level 28. That's gonna be something. It is a Harvest Cleric, though, and Harvest Clerics don't have the greatest defense, so let's see how it'll go. Yeah, so this is actually going to be the last episode of these preliminary things. We'll get there by the end of that. So I guess in commemoration of that, well, I'm just keeping everything in here. It's just going to be all arena battles. So there you go. Have at you. Let's get Hanako before she gets off that heel, man. Oh man, we're doing nothing to her. Did you see that? 4, 4, 4, 4. God, that's terrible. What about Dr. D? What are we gonna do? Yeah, that's a little more like it. Dr. D and the other guy, they're more our level. It's kind of weird to see such a large gap in levels between those teammates. I wouldn't be surprised if they were all level 28, but it is weird that they're like this here. I'm not sure what strategy I use to do this. I might still just be trying to go for Hanako, or maybe just overall just trying to counter whoever doing whatever. But if you're playing this and you get into a situation like this, it might be worth it, in this case, to take care of the other two people closer to your level, just because it'll be easier for all of you to focus on the higher level character then. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Dr. D, what are you talking about? Get out of here. Get out of here with that heel. Hanako. Oh, Syllabus. Syllabus got it. Oh, man. The arena. The arena. I like the arena. The arena also just kind of feels like a way to pad the game out, though, because, I don't know. I don't know how many videos we've had like this of just the preliminaries, but it kind of feels like in the GU series when the game's not quite ready to give you a big story-related thing, they'll give you arena stuff to do to make it seem like something important is happening. And I guess it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, I love, like, the arena tournament kind of story arcs and things. I don't know, there's just something about it that I just really get into for whatever reason, but you know, recording commentary for the past few episodes has made me realize, man, they kind of halt the plot in GU even more so getting ready for this tournament. And in some ways it was good, because it's like, .hack is kind of like, well, GU is kind of like, it either isn't giving me story when I want it, or it's not giving me gameplay when I want it. Like, I'll be doing just a bunch of these random battles and stuff, and it's like, I wish something more interesting would happen in the story. And then there are other times where it's like a bunch of story stuff, but it'll be stupid, like, okay, go to Raven so Yada can tell you something. Okay, and that's it. You have new mail. Go log out and check your mail. Pi has something she wants to tell you. Go find Pi. There'll be a cutscene that happens. You end the cutscene. Go log out for new mail, and it's just like, I don't know, the pacing in GU is just kind of... Oh, Tanu! I recognize Tanu's name. He's on the DeviantArt board, or the Apkalu board, whatever it's called. He's like a super into beast type characters. I guess I never really talked about that too much. That was something new that GU did. That I don't know, I suppose can make the characters in this game a little more interesting, but it doesn't really do it for me. So you have your human characters, and they're kind of like, were they like well-rounded enough, I guess? And then you had a couple of different types of beast characters with different body builds, and they were better or worse at different stats as well. You might see, like, God, how do I even describe them? You'll see some, like, humanoid rabbit-looking characters every once in a while. You'll see more characters like Gaspard, only they're more like smaller, pudgier cat creatures than dog creatures. I've always seen Gaspard as like a dog creature, just because of like the flappy ears. And then you'll see like these other like stronger looking humanoid monster type characters, and I don't really know how to compare them. The face always reminds me of like a statue face from like A Link to the Past, from either like the Light World or the Dark World. In one of the dungeons, I feel like it reminds me of like the statue heads you find, but in the end, it doesn't really matter too much. You don't really get a lot of beast characters in your party, and it's never really labeled as like a beast character. Like if you go on the world's official site, you can see the differences between like all the races and how their stats will affect you and everything like that, but like, you know, it's not like that's ever an issue for you while playing the game. That's just like a fun little extra that they did as if the world was a real game. But yeah, they've never really been too interesting to me. I like the pudgy beast characters, like that Tanu guy we fought and Gaspard. Here's like one of those rabbit ones. Like I guess she's kind of like a cat too. I don't know. I feel like I've seen characters like that with longer ears before. But yeah, I don't know. They're just not particularly interesting. You'll see that design like around a lot too. I guess like because one of the bigger problems I have with GU in terms of like the NPCs is there is also a lot less variety in them. And in fact, there's a couple of places in this Let's Play where I just like look at a few characters staying next to each other just to like kind of illustrate the point that it's like, wow, they're like exactly alike. And I feel like when the beast characters were introduced in here, you can kind of like see like, hey, I've seen you somewhere before. I don't know. Not saying the beast characters was like a bad. Ooh, Rucruz. Allie's got herself a water skull. Nothing against the beast characters or anything. It's just, you know, GU didn't do a good job with their NPCs. If I was a better, if I had a better eye, I could probably be pointing out more similarities in the arena here, since we're interacting with a lot of NPCs, but you know, with like the action and not really able to get like a good camera angle on anyone. But like this guy attacking us, Cactus Man, I've seen him in towns a lot before. He's got like that samurai ponytail sticking up in the back. Yeah, and again, not to say that, you know, the original Dot Hack series was so much better at it. It was a little better at it, but I felt like it was better enough for me not to have a problem with it. Like, they'd, I don't know, maybe it's because I walked around in first-person mode a lot more in the original series, too, so I noticed things like different faces on characters and like different hair colors and different armor colors and just slightly different things that honestly don't feel too different, but I guess to me they were different enough to like make them stand out. I also did a lot more trading in the original series because it was like a lot more beneficial, so you know, while trading you have the option to like talk through with them for a few lines of dialogue to like kind of get to know them a little bit better. GU does that too, but again, I don't feel there's much of a point to trading in GU, so I don't really talk to a lot of the NPCs that often. They're all just kind of like similar things that similar things, similar people that just walk by in the towns or whatever. You know, I'll trade and stuff if I find them in a field just because they're there. But, you know, what can I say? Like, I've been through it all before. I don't want to, like, repeat myself, but your equipment in GU is just, like, such a secondary thought. It's like, why bother? Oh, yeah. So, something I never mentioned up before, too. I don't like the announcer for the arena. I think it's weird to bring up, but there's a character on the Apkawa forums that makes a drawing of the announcer, and there's, like, a thread about how amazing he is, and it's like, I don't know. I think he sounds like an announcer that's... No, he doesn't sound like an announcer. He sounds like somebody trying to imitate an announcer. Like, oh, Team Sail's doing the Beast Awakening now. Can you believe it? Such powerful force. You can see the fire of their souls burning as they attack Mike Smith and Rain and Sun. Oh my god, they're taking such a beatdown. Aren't I such an announcer? Stuff like that. Like, I as much as I love, like, the tournament-style stories and things, I usually am not a huge fan of the announcer. The announcer is just kind of like... Well, it's the job itself that annoys me, because it's like, let's stop showing you the action so we can tell you what just happened, and it's like... I don't want to be told what just happened. I should be able to figure it out by myself, and I guess that's just kind of like... I don't know. There are more types, but I always go back to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z when I think of the announcer, and it's like... Dragon Ball Z has this bad habit of, like, wanting to show you how impressive everybody is to, like, a normal person. Like, we've all seen in Dragon Ball Z just, like, the crazy crap they do in that. Like, all, like, the super powerful, gigantic, quick moves and special blasts and everything like that. But, like, whenever they go in a tournament, it's like, half that time is, like, the announcer needs to be like, I don't know what just happened! It was like a flash of light! What do you call that crazy move? And... like, everybody in the audience has to, like, gasp and awe, and it's like, yeah, look how powerful we are. So powerful, normal people don't even understand what we're doing. You have to be, like, gifted to see. And they do it here, too, with Avatar stuff. Haseo does eventually, get his Avatar, and he uses it in the arena, and that's kind of another... that's a story issue I have with GU. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it would be cool if announcers were more like the beginning and end of a fight, but I just, like... I don't know, they take me out of the fight, and I just wish they'd kind of shut up and I just got back to watching the fight itself. But the announcer here, I don't know, it's just his voice, really, that sounds so unenthused. I don't know if it's better in the Japanese version or not. I was actually surprised, because unless I missed something, I don't think you can actually switch to the Japanese language for the voiceover in this game. You could in the original Dot Hack series, and I actually, the last time I played it, I did play through some of the game in the Japanese voices, because, like, a big problem a lot of people have with, like, Americanization for anime and JRPGs is the voice acting, and, you know, that's like a trickier subject to tackle, but, you know, in this particular case, I just feel like the announcer for the English version just sounds, like, very fake, and I kind of, like, get annoyed when I hear him. Thankfully, he's not, like, announcing stuff, like, during the battle like this. It's not like he interrupts to, like, tell us what just happened. Battles will get interrupted, don't get me wrong. But that it'll be for more just, like, trash talking, and I'm fine with that. Yeah, the trash talking in these tournament things are, I don't know. I don't know why I get into it so much. It's like some kind of like twisted soap opera almost. I never really thought to check because there's more classes and weapon types that aren't really represented by any character you get in your party in this game, so I'm trying to keep like an eye out for maybe like another couple of classes that you don't see for a while. It is just the two more, I think, because what do we have? We have the Harvest Cleric and Shadow Warlock, and we have the Lord Partisan. We have, well, we've been seeing the Edge Punisher. That's the class with the giant sword, the one Haseo was able to use before Tri-Edge took that power away from him. We have the Blade Brandiers and the Twin Blades and the Adept Rogues and the Steam Gunners and the Tribal Grapplers. So I think the only two that aren't really represented in this game are the Flick Reapers, which use the scythes that Haseo also had the ability of, and then another type of mage called the Macabre Dancer, which uses a fan and does status ailments. I think you do see those in Volume 2, though. I know one of the opponents in the tournament in Volume 2 uses fans. He is a Macabre Dancer. Unfortunately, that fight isn't very difficult, so you don't really get to see anything too interesting with that. Oh, avoided that just in time. Oh man, I hate it when you go to counterattack somebody, but then after your counterattack, someone just started doing a skill. So you have to like wait a little for a few seconds before you can do a skill or use an item again. Like that, there's a bar that'll refill over your head. It's usually not a big deal, but like there's enough times when, you know, it just doesn't get there in time, and it's just, whatever. Man, Annalie's just like running all over the place. I'm assuming she's doing her job because she's like out of SP, and you know, we're not dead or anything. We are taking damage. But it's always funny just seeing like the mages like run around. It's kind of annoying though when sometimes they'll just like run around and like try to like fight people with their weapon, and it's like, why are you doing that? That's like another thing I miss about the original series, because you could tell someone to like stay where they are or hold back or follow you or something like that. There was a lot more customization for how you wanted your party to behave in the original series. Here it's a lot simpler, and honestly it usually doesn't need to be any more complicated, but you know, every now and then it is kind of like, I'd rather you be doing this specific thing rather than waiting for you to do that thing under a generalized strategy. But I mean, whatever, because Haseo is just so versatile with doing everything, like, especially when you start getting some of your weapons back. Like, it comes to a point where it's just like, Haseo can solo if he wanted to. He'd have a hard time with it, because, you know, it's never a good idea to solo, but you know, there's a lot of his weapon types, like, cover a lot of situations. Man, Awakenings really shouldn't be allowed in these tournament fights, because they just make it so easy, like, because the enemy can't, like, retaliate or anything. They just have to sit there and just take what you're giving them. Oh, nice. Stop that just in time. Well, I don't know, I think she took a little bit of damage, but yeah, even if you counterattack someone, it still moves in like a fairly real-time-ish way. Like, if they're doing a skill, oh Jesus, this video skipping around again. That's gonna suck if it is. At least we're just doing normal stuff here. Sorry about that. Just tried to fix it. Hopefully it worked. Because I don't want to repeat like last time. I hate when stuff like that happens because there's not really like a whole lot you can do about it. You know, if the video is indeed corrupted, or not corrupted, but like it like hiccuped or whatever. I don't know if it's just my computer just like slowing down or whatever. I don't know. It's a pain. It's like one of those things that should be easier when you're doing a post commentary, but like when you've edited like the video to what you want it to be and you just want to do the recording, and it's like, oh well, where am I in the recording? Gotta stop that. Gotta blah 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 blah. Ugh, I don't know. At least it can be funnier if you're doing it live, where you're just like, oh no, what's going on? Ooh, 2 new moves. Sail learned Sword Dance. Syllabus learned Lateral Moon. Yeah, after I wish I made like a point to like go into the skills of other oh yeah, I wanted the new move to be on my skill trigger because, you know, I want to show it off, but whatever. Yeah, it is weird. You don't get a lot of skills in GU. It's kind of a shame because, like, as an RPG, it just kind of makes it not terribly interesting. But at the same time, then, when you do get a new skill, it's like, alright, something new to do. Even though it's, you know, how new is it? Like, the best ones are when they have, like, those, the skills that are good against those enemies that have, like, the flight barrier that you need to take down before you can start doing real damage to them. Or the enemies with extra armor on them. But yeah, we're almost done here. We're almost done, and then we can finally start the tournament. Is that a Harvest Cleric we took down to get in the tournament? That's good. That's good. So, we're rank 16 now. We're just made it in, thank God. So now we'll be able to participate in the actual tournament itself, which is what I think that email's going to tell us. Let's get let's get Sword Dance on. It's like 1 SP of difference. I wish they had like some kind of like power thing on there so you can see what's what. But anyway, next time on Let's Play .hack GU, hopefully story. Cross my fingers. See you later.